Hi there, I'm Holly McCann, the founder of Grail Leadership, and I want to explore with you today the concept of leading from the center. It's been coming up a lot for me in my client coaching sessions, in a lot of my work and conversations lately, so I really want to unpack what that means and why it's so important, especially today. In my corporate days, I was a lawyer and vice president, and I dealt a lot with plans, strategies, budgets, spreadsheets. There was a lot of focus and is a lot of focus in the business world on planning and making strategic plans and contingency plans. Plan A, B, C, and D, so we can account for any eventualities. Plans are fantastic. We need those. They provide direction, focus, a trajectory for moving us forward. We can go to a board of directors or shareholders and say, look, we're going to make a profit. It says so right here on my spreadsheet that I carefully crafted. But what happens when we didn't account for a particular variable? What happens when something comes out of left field that we could not have seen coming? What happens when a computer malfunction takes down an entire grid in a moment that cripples businesses, transportation, banking all across the world? What do we do when those plans aren't enough to see us in the current moment? I think of it like a sailor who is tacking into the wind, right? The way that you sail is through constant course correction. Now, this sailor could look ahead weeks out even to see what the weather patterns are forecasted to be and make, educated decisions about, well, I'm not going to go out on that day or at that time because there's a huge storm coming, not a good idea. And they can plan for that. But in reality, in every single moment, that sailor is needing to tune into the elements. What's happening in the wind? What direction is the wind blowing in this moment? How fast is it going right now? So that I can respond and tack that sail in a particular way. And that sailor is not trying to manage the wind, control the wind. He or she is aligning with the wind, going, okay, I see you. I'm going to dance with you. It's the same thing with surfers. Surfers know this really well. You can look at the forecast for what the currents and the waves are doing, but you don't know until you are on that board in any given moment what a particular wave is shaping up like. You have to be able to read it and move with it and become almost one with that water, with the wave. And that's the thing. All of those spreadsheets and plans, they help us feel safe. They help us allay the fears of what we can't see coming, fears of the unknown, fears of what might happen. We're really good at that, right? We have a whole lizard brain that keeps us in fear that's like, oh, you better control that variable. You better figure out what would happen if this happened. But we cannot possibly control all the things that are coming in any given moment, especially in today's world. Change is happening phenomenally fast, right? AI is coming down the pike. We have no idea where that's going or how to respond. It's happening so fast. So many things are happening that are well beyond our control. Supply chains can be impacted in any given moment. Whatever the crisis du jour is, we can't plan our way out of that. We can't rationalize our way out of that. And so I think that's what's increasing the anxiety that a lot of people are feeling today, is that there is a part of you that knows, I can't rely solely on this plan. What if the plan isn't enough? What if I missed a particular variable? And I really think the rapid pace of change and the overwhelming amount of change is by design. It's to overwhelm our left brain's capacity to figure it out, to plan our way out of it, to manage change, right? Sometimes I look at the business world and I think, I don't know, there's a lot of talk about change management. Isn't that an oxymoron? How do we actually manage change? It's like trying to manage the wind. We can respond to change. We can navigate change. There's another area of business called agile development. And it's interesting because one of the 4 fundamental principles says, respond to change by following a plan. And I'm thinking, that is such a left brain only focus, because when that's the only tool in your toolbox, you're going to be in trouble when the plan's failing, when the plan didn't account for what's happening in the current setting, right? We are nature, and nature does not operate like a machine. It's not that we can just turn this dial, push this button, and get a predicted result. Sometimes we can, but not always. So, what is the alternative? Well, it's what we're being called to do. And what I talk about a lot in Grail leadership is we're bringing that feminine principle back online with the masculine. Without that inner sensing, we have very little capacity to ride those waves, to tack into the wind. So we bring on that part of ourselves that we all have, that feminine, that knows that life is so much more than a machine. And in every moment, we can ride with it, be with it, not trying to manage it, not trying to control it, not trying to tamp it down. Change is a part of nature, and it's really creation in motion. Every moment is creating something new, birthing something new. And so when we can embrace that and get excited and curious about that and say, oh my gosh, something's happening here. It's not what I thought. It may not even be what I prefer. It may scare the crap out of me, but can I just come back to my center? Can I just get curious? Can I just say, all right, maybe all the fear that's running right now is a story. History does not predict the future, as much as our left brain wants to believe that it does, so that it can control it, so that we can feel like we have some ability to manage change. The way that we work with that feminine is not by looking to a guidebook, not by looking outside of us or holding on to guardrails. It's by tuning into our center. And what I mean by that is your own true north, your own original intention of your voice, your soul song, of what you and your soul and these extra dimensional parts of you know and are here to express and experience and use to guide you in any given moment. But we've been so conditioned to tune that voice out. That voice is scary, that voice is not reliable, that voice feels chaotic, there's not a plan around that voice, it's not logical, right? We've become so reliant on our left brain that that part of us has atrophied, and we're really being asked to exercise that muscle, to develop that capacity to tune into our own center. And it takes practice. We need to be in environments where we can quiet the noise, where we can be in that calm in the center of the chaos. The center is where the masculine and feminine principles within us all are dancing in harmony. This is how nature operates, and it's actually how we're operating when we're not in our fear brain around what's happening and creating stories about it. So when we can come back to that center that's in us all, it's there. We don't have to go find it. It's right here. But we need to be able to listen to it, to develop the capacity and the familiarity with it so that we can discern what that voice is from the chaotic voices that are screaming and panicking and telling us all the things we should be doing. We can go, oh no, I'm hearing something different. And we can follow that, because that is far more able to help us navigate change than any plan can be out there. Like I said, the plans are important, but they're not the only thing. Start with the plan, but be able to course correct, be able to ride that wave based on our own centering mechanism. So when you take that out to an organizational level, it works the same way. At the center of every organization is their original intention. Why was this organization formed in the first place? What is the impact this company or community or project is intended to create? And when you have everyone focusing on that in the center, that is the organizing principle. That's sort of that true north that you use to guide yourself in any given moment. No matter what's happening, you come back to, is this serving that impact? Are we fulfilling that original intention? And everyone is looking toward the center and leaning in and contributing to that. But here's the thing. It's not everyone seeing everything the same way and operating in the same way according to some plan necessarily. They each are bringing their own unique perspectives, their own true north, their own original intention and capacity to see and feel and sense into what's happening. And so you want to invite in and not only tolerate and accept differing perspectives, appreciating them, encouraging them, because those are the things that are going to inform the best next steps in whatever is happening. It's the combination and the synergy of all these different perspectives. So when someone says, I don't know, I know everyone's saying we should go that way, but something in my gut is off. It's telling me this isn't the right way to go. So normally in a conventional world, the other people in the room would be saying, you're crazy, that's dumb, we have a plan. Look, all of us are agreeing. Why are you the only one that's being a troublemaker or raising a dissenting opinion? There's sort of this power over winner takes all. We need to convince everyone else that my way is the right way. But in a new paradigm, regenerative organization that has that feminine principle on board, you're inviting in that tension of opposing perspectives, because that's where the gold is. That's where what's really wanting to come through next can emerge. And so you're saying, what are you getting? Tell me more. You see something that we're not seeing? Please, I want to know what that is. And it's not just so that you can convince me or I can convince you. It's that so we can stir that pot that's in the center. And what arises from that pot, what emerges, is something entirely different than any one person around that table could have seen or come up with or dreamed up. But everyone around the table just magically starts to say, like, oh my gosh, we did not see that coming, but look. And that was because you dove into those differing perspectives and allowed what wanted to emerge to come through. Far better than a plan could have done or could have foreseen, right? So we need to be able to develop that capacity again, to bring that back online, expanding our awareness of what that inner voice, our unique soul song sounds like, because it's going to be different than all the others around you. It's going to be different in a lot of cases from that, quote, conventional wisdom, right? And we need to be able to hear it, to familiarize ourselves with it, and to trust it and listen to it and not override it like we've been doing for so long, diminishing it, telling it it's wrong, it's not rational. That is really that overly dominant left brain that's trying to keep us safe, but in the only way it knows how, which is with a plan, with a document, with a guardrail that says this is how it must work, like a machine. And we need to be in places that allow that to happen. Allow us the space and the silence to be able to tune in and to normalize this, to allow us to get over that hurdle of all those inner voices that are telling you, get back to the playbook, get back to the plan. That's not the right way to go. This didn't end well last time. Whatever those voices are that are wanting to shut down and override that inner sensing, we need to be able to practice bringing that voice into the field more. So when we're leading from the center, we are leading from our individual center. And in an organizational setting, we're leading from the center of the organization, that central original intention, and bringing into the center all the varying perspectives that are all seated around that round table. All right, I would love to hear from you. Reach out with any aha moments, any inspirations, or questions. Thank you so much.